Thank you. So welcome, Yvonne. Really delighted that you're presenting for us this evening a vision board masterclass for us. So thank you very much. We're going to put our hands together and give you a round of applause. And welcome.
Okay. Oh, well, that's me done. Can you make me host? I have got a few slides, obviously, because I would like to just show you what we do.
Okay, over to you, Yvonne.
Marvellous. Let's see if I can just find it and we'll be all right. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Marvellous. It's interesting that you said at the beginning that you were looking at how we can transfer our vision boards to our objectives. I always do mine the other way around. So I always set my objectives and then I add the pictures to it. But it doesn't really matter, I don't think, which way around you do it, because as you know, you rightly say, it does just focus the mind. And you do manifest what you want. And this, at the subconscious level, your subconscious is always aware, I think, of what you want. And that law of attraction just seems to attract it. And it was interesting, Beth said, you know, that it was sheer luck that you got the things on your board. It probably wasn't, because at that subconscious level, you were already manifesting what you want. It's interesting that we were thinking about the fact that this is sort of September. And it is a time, I think, when a lot of people think, oh, well, I'll just write this year off. I'll start again in January. I'll just tread water now till December. But actually, from my experience, this is one of the busiest times of the year for business. Whether it's linked into that sort of academic new start in September when people think about a new start as well, I don't know. But it is a time to always reset, refocus, a time to have new goals. Because if we plan now, my view is that we'll have a better 2022, but that won't happen if you just get to January. So what I want you to think about, and you don't necessarily have to do it now, but in order to build a really good vision board, it's always good to start with what you're willing to work for. What is it that you get out of bed for in the morning? And I've actually just done this yesterday, actually, with my team. I was asked to do exactly the same presentation yesterday, which is a bit bizarre. And so I'd just like you to think, if you were asked, what 20 things are you willing to work for, what would you write down? So have a few minutes to just think about what are you willing to work for. Now, the girl I did this with has given permission for her list to be shared. And she wrote her needs and wants down, but she interestingly also added the cost of those down as well. And that was quite important, because when you come to sort of her vision board and her goals and her planning and her objective setting, it really helps to focus her to have the cost of that as well. And these could be needs or wants, they could be personal things, but just have a few moments to think, what is it that you're willing to work for? I'll give you one more minute just to sort of start your list, because you can carry this on once we've finished, really. But it just gets your mind starting to think about what your priorities are and what is it that you actually want, that you're getting out of bed for. So I'll give you a bit more time later to do this as well. But the reason for doing this is that what I did with the girl in my team, with Diana, is that we then broke that down into the 4 months that we have left. We did this a couple of weeks ago. And so she took off her 20 things she was willing to work for, and she started to slot things into where she wanted them. And so she knows she needed school uniform at the beginning of September. She knew you had to pay for Lulu's ballet lessons at the beginning. Football gear was needed, start of the season. There was a family birthday coming up and they wanted this London theatre trip, so she needed that. And she's saving for a Disney trip, and so she wanted to start that off with that. October, she wants her new curtains, there's a hen weekend, and half-term club for her kids is going to cost quite a bit. In November, she wants new lamps for the lounge, which will obviously, you know, go with her nice new curtains. And she's aiming to plan her overdraft off then, because she will be hitting Christmas then. So interestingly, she's got some monthly targets now that are linked to her goals. So she's got her goals of what she wants. She's broken it down now into the different months. And then we wrote a plan. Now, this will probably be, these 2 columns here will mean nothing to people who are not in Forever. We don't work in money terms in Forever, we work in case credits, because we work in 160 countries and it's like an internal currency. But she started to think, right, what activity do I need in September to earn £625, which will take some of those things off my needs list or off my vision board, if you like. Because she started to build her vision board. She put a picture of the school uniform up. She had a picture of Lulu in ballet gear. She had the football up there. She had a picture of the London Theatre up there with the tickets. And she had a picture of Disney. So she already had her vision board started for September. And now she had to plan the activity. So she would be using some personal goods herself, buying some gifts for people, repeat customers, doing some sort of online launches or parties, which would be good as well. This one's blank because at the time we hadn't set the date, because there's a Macmillan coffee morning in September. And so when she's planned the date for that, she will do one of those. And as well as selling cake, she'll have a little table with her Forever goodies as well. She's got some experience packs booked out. And that's what these are. These are just little, this is our summer essentials pack. And they just go out to people and people can just sort of try before they buy and experience some of the products. So that's quite nice. So if you want one of those or you know anybody, let me know. Some people don't like that. They have little sample packs sent out in the post. So she's got some of those already put together as well, which she can do. People have eaten out over the summer. They've had their holidays. They're back in September. They've got that little black dress they've got to get into for Christmas. So they're now all going for C9, which is our cleanse program. So she's got some of those booked as well. And she's got some little aloe bars booked, where we just turn up with our little aloe and we do little shots of aloe. We take along little flyers and we just, I suppose, build people's knowledge. So she's got lots of events planned. Now, we always work on, for every 1 case credit, for every 1 sort of batch of products, she'll make £86 product. So based on worst case scenario, she looks to be making £489 profit in September. But if things go really well and she hits her top targets, she'll make 1,031. Now, if you remember, her target was 625. So her little September vision board now, which has the school uniform on it, the ballet on it, the football gear, the picture of the London Theatre and the Disney trip, although that's quite visual, and I can't find her vision board, she sent it to me and I filed it somewhere really safe, because the next slide was supposed to be her September vision board. But she has got a lovely board with this on, but she's then got it broken down into what activity will get that vision for her. And what we did then is we actually took her diary and we planned it in. So the green bits are the forever work. I mean, this is actually mine. My yellow bits are my bits. My purple bits here are Open University. My blue bits are my day job. I do normally have pink bits for family, but clearly they're not going to look in that week. So it's good then to take what your activity is and put it into your diary. Now, I like a paper diary. Some people do this online and they have a digital diary, whatever floats your boat. But I think it's important to take those visions and actually put them into practical steps as well. Otherwise, they're just pretty pictures on the board, and they've got to be translated into action. I also then have a day book, and I split it in half, and on the left-hand side are the people I need to talk to, and on the right are things that I need to do, any social media I need to do, or any other to-do lists. And so that then, having done all the groundwork, means that you're ready then to put your vision board together. Now, some people use a whiteboard and they just have pictures that they put on there, and they can change those. They might want to write on there. They can put targets on there. It can be numbers, it can be pictures. Some people quite like that. Other people have a pin board, and they will literally have a pin board next to their desk, and they can pin pictures on it like this. This is a very fancy one that somebody ordered off Amazon, and you can get these beautiful sort of hexagonal tiles which you can stick on your wall. Very beautiful, a bit of a faff for me, but very nice. Or you could have a mixture of both. So you've got perhaps things that you can write on, and as well as your sort of visions as well. Now, this is one that somebody in my team did, well, 10 years ago, actually. She's a very wordy person. This reflects her very well. She's very inspired by words, more so perhaps than pictures. And she needed to be inspired. She wanted to focus on having a healthy body. She wanted to travel. Cancun was her place that she was aiming for that year. She had a jeweler's where she had her eye on something really nice. And I think this was supposed to inspire her husband to go and get that for her. But she had pictures of a car that she had her eye on, financial freedom, you know, the beach, places she wanted to travel. She wanted to go on a cruise as well. So this was her vision board. Very wordy, but right for her, because she could look at this every day, and it was important to her to read those things. That's how she processed her vision. So that's quite a nice one. Somebody else in my team doesn't like words at all. They just do pictures. And so they've got pictures of the car, they've got pictures of where they'd like to travel, a bit of the sound system they wanted to set up in their house, pictures of how they wanted to sort of decorate their home, another one here. I did think at first this was knobbly knees, this one here, but apparently it's a six-pack. I did wonder why she wanted knobbly knees, but she said, no, I want a man with a six-pack. This was a plan for her garden, places she wanted to go, but this was important to her because this is how she was going to be inspired. And, you know, when you look back at these, when you go back to this one, she has got a car like this. It's exactly like this. She did go on her cruise. She did go to Cancun. She did pay all her credit cards off. So it's interesting that, you know, those things are there, and that's what she's willing to work for. So that was that visual reminder, but it was backed up by that sort of plan as well. This is a bit similar to the one Diana that I was doing before for September. What she has done for September is she has literally got a bright yellow piece of card up on her wall, and she has put photos up of the football gear and the Lulu in the ballet and the London Theatre, and she's got post-its underneath with the monetary value, and she does a vision board every month. Now, some people do them every year. She likes to do one a month because she likes to be focused on just that month. Lots of people do them quarterly. I quite like to do them quarterly, because I think your vision changes, and as you gain things and as you tick things off on your vision board, I think for me doing one quarterly means that those are things that I am working for now, and they're very realistic and they're in reach. That's not to say that on my quarterly board there isn't always something that is a little bit far reaching, but it's just interesting the way different people do it. There are some more on here which are very small, sadly, but it's whatever works for you, really. But I like this thing here, and the idea is just a dream until you write it down, then it's a goal. And I love this: set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person who can. And I quite like that. And behind me, I have got a thing that says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And so that's what I look at every day. Now, these are some of my vision boards. This is one I did a while ago, just about, this was more a vision about who I wanted to be. And I wanted to feel every day that I'd worked hard enough, that it was the best day ever. And that I could go my own way. And so this for me was about focusing on me and what my vision for me was. This was one I did at the end of last year, ready for 2021, thinking it was going to be a normal year. I did win the incentive, and I did get my little forever case with my little eagle on it. So I did that. I didn't go back to my gym membership because it's been shut for most of the year. So I didn't do that. I did pay off all my credit cards. So this one was ticked. My retirement has now been planned. That's happening 31st of March. So that one's been done. I did do all the decorating in the house. So that has all been done. Now, I didn't pay my mortgage, but I paid a huge chunk of it off. So that's quite satisfying. I did get time. Sometimes this was about teaching my granddaughters to play the piano. I did get fits and bursts of that, thanks to lockdown. This one here is about starting to write my book, so that's in hand. This was a Paris trip. We were going on a Paris trip as a family for my husband's 60th. Well, it was shut when he was 60 in May, so we didn't do that. However, the money to pay for that trip is there. So we still planned it and we still worked for it, even though we couldn't physically go. So as soon as that's open, we're going. Now, these two, well, I'm a huge tennis fan and I needed to go to the US Open this September. But with all the travel restrictions, that didn't happen. So my little flags are actually dates that I want to achieve these by. So that has had to move now till next year. The Australian Open, which was going to be January 2022, is now moving to January 2023. But I think it's just about what works for you. So I've got this one, which is quite a practical things that I want. But this one is about what I want, and they're pictures that just reflect me and where I want to go. So, I mean, there are some nice books out there that you can have a little look at. The Complete Guide to Vision Boards and a starter kit there, and 26 tips to achieve your goals as well. They're quite useful. But one thing I've also done is I've worked with Brian Main. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Brian Main's goal mapping. But inside my day book, this is my day book, I have on the front inside cover, I have my one goal map. This is my goals for me for next year. And in the inside of the back cover, I have my life map. And so the idea is that when I open up my day book, every morning I read through my maps before I start anything else. And one thing that I always do is I always have a word for the year. My word for 2020 was consistency. And that was my screensaver. It was my phone screensaver. So every time my phone opened up or my laptop opened up, my one word was there, and it was in a picture frame. Now, I cheated this year. I've got more than one word. I've got actually I can. And so that is my screensaver for this year. It's also my phone saver. So I find that helpful as well. It's not a vision board, but I think having a word for the year is also quite focusing. So these are my, these are the Brian Main goal maps. So the idea is at the top, you have what your sort of life goals are, which for me are financial security, peace of mind and fulfillment. You know, how's that going to look? Well, I'm my ideal weight. So you can see that these are to be worked on by my birthday next year. So I'm still on that journey for that one. I'm a successful forever business owner. I have a successful consultancy business, and I'm a best-selling author. So those are my goals for next year. Now, how will that actually look? Well, I'll have written my 5-a-day book. I'll have set up my vitality wellness consultancy, and I will have new forever team members. And on this side, these are the people that are going to help me. So obviously myself is there. This is Jane, my manager. She is going to help me get there, and my team, my vitality team, will help me get there as well. But there's also a life map. Now, this is your vision for you, for your life. And this is another good one to just have a go at. And if you go into the Brian Main, you've got all the templates for this. But I mean, so it's quite nice to do these. And these are on my, easy to save on my laptop as well. So your spiritual goal, you can have a social goal, a financial one, a mental goal there. You can also have emotional and physical. So that's another way to perhaps visualize what you want by just having, you know, this the best version of you and what is going to make that happen. But this one is also a bit more practical because this actually shows what matters in the long term. How's that going to look? How will you know you've got there, and who's going to help you? So that's quite a practical one as well. And so just to finish off with, it's the thing that inspires me is it to remember the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So it's all lovely to have, you know, your vision board here, but if you don't have, you know, that quarterly plan, if you don't have that strategy, if you don't have your weekly diary all set out with the actions you're going to take, for me, if I don't have my day book of what I'm doing every day, then my dreams stay dreams, and that's not good enough for me. So that's me done.
Can we ask questions? Can we all ask questions now?
Yeah, do what you like now.
Okay, I would like to see your day book. I was interested in that day book and how you work your way through it.
This is my day book, and I literally have my vision in the front, and then I just literally divide every page into two. And so on the left hand side I have the date.
Can you stop sharing the screen then, Yvonne, so we can see it better?
Let me stop sharing that, and then you'll be able to see it a bit better.
Thanks. I'm just going to put you on speaker view.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that now, but down the left hand side here are all the contacts, the people I am definitely going to call. So these are people that I've got appointments with, or they may be people that I've already agreed, I've spoken to previously, and so they're slotted into my day book. They're written in my diary. So if I say I'm going to talk to Joe Bloggs on the 15th of October, Joe Bloggs is in my diary 15th of October. So when I set my day book up on a Sunday night for the week, I look at my week to view, and I know that Joe Bloggs is there for the 15th of October, and he goes on the list. And anybody else I've got to talk to goes in there. They could also be customers of mine. They could be prospects, people I think may be interested in what I'm doing, whatever. But these are my key people to contact. And then on this side, I've got any social media stuff I need to do, any posts I need to do, any lives I might be doing, any meetings I've already got. So I know by just looking at that, that's my plan for the whole day. And that just is quite helpful, I think, you know, just to have in here everything that I'm going to do. If I make new friends, perhaps on social media, I also keep a list here of all the new people I've met and whether they're on LinkedIn or Facebook, so that these people then will be slotted in to my diary for people to contact. And so over the next few days in my day book, their names will appear as people for me to contact.
How many people do you set yourself a goal of making contact with in a day?
I used to do 5 a day. I'm aiming for 10 a day now.
Okay.
And what I do is I tend to have a power hour in the day when I just do that work. So I will pick, so by looking at my diary, I can color code out a little green power hour. And that's when I pick up my day book, and that's my power hour when I just work on this. Because if I don't have the power hour, I faff all day. And I think, oh, I'll call them later. And then later comes and I think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then what happens is you think, well, I'm going to call 5 people today, and you call 2. So tomorrow you think, oh, I've got to call 7 now, and you call 2. So by about Friday, you've got 20, 25 people on your list because you didn't do the work the other days. So, I mean, I always have my vision boards. I always have these where I can see them. I have that one. I always have this one up. But for me, it's about, yeah, those are my visions, but how am I going to get those? I need to put that now into a monthly plan. I need to plan the week out now into activity, and that daily activity needs to be done so that when I've got my power hour set, I know exactly what I'm doing for that hour. And once it's done, you can relax for the day. That's not to say you may not make other calls or you may not do something else, but you know your key activity is done and you can get a lot done in an hour.
And do the people that you're almost like making new friends with on via social media, are they amenable to being contacted? Because a lot of people just want to stay online and become quite faceless, don't they? So how do you do that flip of a convert from a friend into an appointment?
I talk to people just really about, you know, quite a lot of those people are people who come up as suggested friends. So it's not quite so bad then, is it? If people come up as suggestions, or on LinkedIn, they come up asking if you'll connect. So you can have a little look at their profiles. And if you think that, you know, for me, as long as they're not really, really weird and a bit odd, I'm willing to just get to know them. So I would spend a couple of weeks probably on those new people, just getting to know them, asking what they do, finding out a bit about them. Where do they live? What sort of things do they do? You know, what hobbies have they got? What passions have they got? Just to see really if there's anything that they're perhaps wanting out of life that maybe I've got something that I can help with. And a lot of those people, you will just keep friends for years and years and years, and you'll just tick it over. And some people will say, because the idea then is if you've shown interest in them, people then say, well, what do you do? And so then I tell them what I do. And at some point then I may say, well, you know, do you want me to send you some samples? If they live locally, I might say, well, why don't we meet for a coffee, which we can do now, and I'll bring along some stuff and you can have a little look at it. If people say no, it doesn't really matter.
I'm sorry, Yvonne, I've hogged you here. So can we take some further questions from the floor? I think Lana might have some questions, and Karen and Beth. So I think they're probably eager to get to you themselves. So over to you, ladies. What would you like to ask Yvonne?
I've left you stunned to silence. I like it.
I'll go first if that's okay.
Yeah.
Brian Main, never heard of him. Are you an affiliate by any chance, or is there a website?
There is a website. I will find that for you now when I can find where I put it. And there is, you can sign up. There's a lot of free stuff on his website, or you can become a member of his sort of setup, and you can have personal coaching then to set up your goals. I won gold membership for a year to the Brian Main sort of coaching as one of as a forever incentive. So I've been doing that all of this year, and it hasn't cost me a penny, which is really, really nice. But he's absolutely fascinating. He grew up as a child traveling around on fun fairs with his dad. Went to about 3 or 4 different schools a year. Couldn't really read or write. Left school at about 13. Ended up in the Isle of Wight running nightclubs. And then decided actually he needed to do something with his life. And he met somebody who was setting up a coaching business and said, what you need is just to sort of visualize what you need. I know you haven't got words because you can't read and write very well, but you've got pictures. And so he just visualized from that moment in pictures what he wanted out of life, and has made a business there, inspiring other people to do exactly the same. But absolutely fascinating. So I will dig out his stuff now, and I will pop it in the chat box.
Sounds really good. I love the quotes. Set a goal so big you have to grow into it. That just really resonated with me. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, let me just.
It was quite interesting, Karen, how quickly you jumped on there saying, are you an affiliate? I was so proud of you.
I'm going to be looking at that one, and I'm going to be looking at affiliates as well.
You can become an affiliate, but I'm just riding through my free membership at the moment, which runs out in December, and then we'll see where that goes. But
you see, I would be straight in there as an affiliate, because if it's something that's so good that I would recommend it to other people, then it's quite nice to make.
It might be something worth you.
Perhaps I'll put that in my day book for tomorrow, Karen.
Well, you would have had sort of five referrals going on there this evening.
I will put that in my day book.
Let's see.
And then email us tomorrow with the referral link.
Yes.
That's it.
We'll all hold back until you've got your referral codes, and we'll jump on them for you.
Marvelous.
There we go. What about you, Beth? Do you have any questions?
No questions, but I think it was quite interesting trying to make a list of the things I want, because they're pretty much all for other people. I think there's quite a lot of, I read a book earlier that said I'm a green person and a people pleaser, and everything I want is for other people. And I started making that list and went, yeah, that's absolutely true. So one thing on there that's for me, and that's holidays, holidays, and holidays. Everything else is things I want for others. So I think I need to do a bit of thinking there really about what I want a bit more.
Interesting. So what about you, Lana?
I was just wondering whether when you have ticked it off your list, do you then replace it with another, or do you allow your year to kind of play out and acknowledge that you've achieved what you wanted to do?
Well, I try to do them every quarter, so that makes it a bit easier. Once something has been achieved, it then comes off, so it doesn't go back on the next quarter's board then, because that's achieved. When I first started doing it, instead of doing a vision board, we used to keep a dream book. And so what we had was like a little scrapbook. And so we had different pictures in there. And we used to have different pages for different things. So perhaps there was a page for me, a page for my family, a page for things I wanted for the house, a page for travel. But I just thought, it's a bit of a faff picking a book up every morning and flicking through it. So that's when I thought a board would be better. But yeah, once it's achieved, it will, for this one now, there's so much on here that's kind of achieved. This one needs to be replaced. So ready for the beginning of October, I'll have a new one, which will take some of those things off. I mean, paying the mortgage off is always on there, because it's obviously going to take me a bit of time. The tennis ones will go back on, and the Disney one will go back on. The car, there didn't seem any point in getting a car when it sits on the drive. I haven't really gone anywhere apart from Tesco in a year, so that ceased to really be a meaningful goal, really, because I don't need that now. It doesn't seem to be something I want now, because I haven't put the mileage on the one I've got. So
So we're going to go to Suzanne. Suzanne, do you have a question for Yvonne?
No, not a question, but it's been fascinating following everything, because Nick and I made it a dream board for this year, and it was always going to be a difficult one with it being lockdown and being uncertain of where everything was going to be, where we were going to, you know, just what we would be allowed to do. And it's weird because there's only one thing we haven't ticked off it this year. And I think it's because of positive thinking. There's always a way around everything. So when, you know, you can't go, you can't travel, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can always still fulfill your dream in a different way within the parameters of what are set. So we have achieved everything within the constraints that have been given to us, and we've achieved more. So yes, we do, because he's at home all the time, we do set things that we want to achieve in the year. And yes, definitely Nick's a person who everything is planned, everything is lists on lists to do.
Oh, I love a list.
Yeah, but it works because I'm very visual. He's very auditory and very writing things down. And between the two of us, I can see what I want, but he can actually put it into writing and also put the pointers, so he can actually put the bullet points of what we need to do to get there. So yeah, this year has been hard in some ways, but been an amazing end of the year.
It's interesting you say about the different, you know, qualities that he brings, because I have my vision board. Now my husband will look at that and think, oh, I can do a spreadsheet about that. Balls the pants off me. I'm asleep at that point. Yeah. But he's got it all on a spreadsheet, and for him that works.
Yeah. I need the pictures. Understand that.
Yeah. And he doesn't get my pictures and I don't get his spreadsheet, but between us, yes, we achieve what we set out to achieve then.
Coming on the back of what Suzanne said, the first time you showed me the vision board example, what came to mind for me was how many people, for example, would, when somebody said to them, say the 20 things they want, would actually couldn't do it because what would be going on in their mind was, I can't afford curtains, I can't afford to go on holiday, and they would be looking at it from the perspective of I can't. But this vision board almost flips it on his head to say these are all the things you want and need that you can have, and you're projecting everything forward. But I wonder, is it only a certain percentage of the population that will do a vision board? Because there's another percentage of the population who's so super negative, they feel they can't.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I was asked to list 20 things I wanted so that I could start to just, you know, what things do I want that I can put a vision to, that I can put a picture to, that I can put on my board. I had 9. And I worked really hard to get 9 on that list. And I'm thinking, where am I going to get the other 11 from? But it's the start, isn't it? For me, when I did my first vision board, yes, I had 9 little pictures on there, but it was enough to work on. And then when you realize that by just seeing it every day and looking at it every day, it becomes a reality for you. You think, oh yeah, I'll find another 11.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for presenting. I'm going to dip in with everyone now to see what they enjoyed the most and how are they going to put what they've enjoyed the most into action. So I'm going to come to you first, Karen. What have you learned this evening that was almost like a light bulb of learning for you? And how are you going to put that learning into action?
I think there was a couple of things in there. There was the fact that you had it as things I'm willing to work for. So they weren't goals, they were things that you were willing to work for, because that meant you were going to take action. The other thing for me was where you've got your goals, but the vision board have got dates on them. I think with my vision board, because it's so open, it's like there's some really big goals, but they're so far in the future I don't actually see them. Whereas if I pull back some goals that are actually achievable, then I can actually get those sorted and they will become nearer. So I think it's almost like the coaching one where you got the needs, the wants, and the wishes, and you sort out your needs, then you deal with your wants, and then you go for the wishes. And it's just moving them over a bit. So it's just reminding me of that one. And I just love that quote again. That's a goal so big you have to grow into it. And that's going to be my vision board, I think.
Right, you've stolen that one. Lovely, thank you. And over to you, Beth. What have you taken this evening? How are you going to put it to work?
Fascinated to look back and see that actually the one I did 4 years ago ended up being a reality without me really trying. That's really quite intrigued me. I think I'm the opposite to Karen, where Karen is saying she needs to pull back from some of her goals that are too far off. I think I only look at the next 12 months and I need to be looking a little bit further forward and stop being quite so short term in my thinking. I think that's why I can't write a list of 20 things I want for me, because I'm just thinking so short term. So I need to change my thinking a bit.
Right, lovely. Thank you, Beth. Over to you, Lana. What have you picked up this evening? What are you going to put into action?
I think for me it's getting the momentum. So moving it from your vision into how you create the momentum to start the process of traction. Yeah, I mean it was kind of great to see your vision board, because it's interesting some of the commonalities. For me, I struggle with consistency, and that has been an active feature for me this year. I still haven't cracked it, but if I look at from last year, I have moved forward. So the momentum is getting there, and I think it's just really useful then having that, so for me more visual, because I'm more of a picture person. Although I like writing lists, I like the images. It's just nice to see that momentum does and continues to carry through. So that was really helpful.
Lovely. Over to you, Suzanne. What did you pick up and will put into practice?
I love the fact that Yvonne showed us different ways of doing a vision board. It's almost like there are no wrong ways to do it. Your interpretation is your interpretation. And it's weird because a few times people have said, oh, can I see your vision board? And I thought, oh God, if they want to see this and not understand it. But I really realized for the first time, it doesn't matter what other people think of your vision board or how you've written it, as long as you understand it. And you showed the girl who was very much into writing. You showed the girl who was very visual. Nobody else has to understand it, just you have to understand it and work through it. So yeah, it suddenly almost gave me recognition for what I'm doing is right. Well, right for me.
Lovely, thank you. And what did you learn from delivering this, Yvonne? Was there sort of new learning came to mind for you?
Yes, I need to get my next quarterly one done, because the one that I'm looking at, I've achieved half of it, and the other half, due to lockdown, is just a bit nonsensical. So I need a new vision board.
All right.
So I'm going to do a new one ready for the 1st of October.
Fantastic. For me, what I enjoyed about your presentation, Yvonne, there's a lot of people who do vision boards. And for me, it's almost like finding fluff in your belly button. Great to do. And it's a great process. But I love the fact that you could show us how you made it almost like a daily feature then afterwards. So you feel as though you're on the case with it. It wasn't just something you put on the wall, it's something you'd broken down, and there were set actions that you're doing daily that even by the end of the week, if you haven't done it, the fact that you haven't done it. I think, you know, I'm a bit like Lana. Sometimes I just let things slide and I'm not making myself accountable for the daily stuff that leads to the weekly stuff. So I really love that you were able to break it down and almost like make it doable for anyone and everyone. And the fact you disciplined yourself to do those calls, you know, I think all of us are, you know, are not getting around to doing these calls because we feel invisible. We're making our businesses invisible.
It came about the day, but due to my word for last year, because my word last year was consistency. And I was somebody who just faffed. I'd have very busy days, then I'd think, oh, I was really busy yesterday, I can have today off. You never get anywhere if you're inconsistent.
Yeah.
Your business just has peaks and troughs, and it never gets into momentum then, does it? So I thought the only thing I can do is I talked to my manager, and she actually has a day book. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for Jane, it's good enough for me. She's a multimillionaire. She works a day book. That's what I need. So I picked up the day book, and it's just changed my business completely, because I now have that daily accountability, only to myself, but it means that I have that daily activity and I have that consistency now that I didn't have before.
So I can see that you work, so say for example, you've got the vision board and you've also got your day book and you've also got your diary. So you've got three almost like processes running, but you've also got 3 jobs. So how do you manage all of that? Because that seems to me a lot to manage. So I'm really intrigued how you manage all that.
It's like, it's probably down to the fact I'm sure I've got ADD or something, because I'm totally incapable of sitting on one thing, and I like a bit of variety. But it's fine because I just color code my diary and I have slots, so I never get bored with anything. For example, today is a day that I have my day job. So I have worked my day job for 4 hours this morning. Then I stopped and I had my power hour. So I had a completely different, I had my little green power hour for forever, and I really enjoyed doing that. Then I had a bit of me time. So I penciled in half an hour for a bit of me time. So I went for a walk. That was quite nice. And then I penciled back in then to do a bit of the day job. And it just, for me, it gives a bit of variety. But by color coding it, it looks quite pretty and it doesn't look quite so overwhelming then. When I just used to write it as a list of things in my diary, I'd open the diary and think, oh God, what an awful week that is. But by adding color, because I am quite visual, that has just made the difference. So now when I open the week, I think, oh, that's quite an exciting week. Look at all those colors. Well, I've got a green bit there, got a bit of blue, a bit of purple. Oh, look at all that yellow for me. So by color coding it, it just doesn't seem overwhelming now. Without the color, it was a boring, overwhelming, stressful week.
I've also had a meeting with you and I can see you using pens at the same time as I'm talking.
Yeah.
So what's that you're doing then?
I always have pens. I tell you what, I'm a stationery person. I need a stationery shop, actually. That's what I really need. I always sit with all my coloured pens and I highlight everything I've got to do.
So say, for example, when I'm having a meeting with you, what are you writing down on? How are you using the pens and what happens that
I have my little notebook.
All right, so we got 4 things now. Okay.
4 things. I've got my notebook. If I've got room, I put them in my day book. If I don't, this is my overflow book. So anything I think will help my forever business, I will highlight that in green. Anything I think will help me personally, I highlight in yellow. If I think that's a good idea, perhaps for my day job or for my Open University job, I will highlight that in blue or purple. And if I think it's a family thing, that's a good idea we could do as a family, it goes in pink. So when I look over my notes then, I think, oh yeah, that's a good tip for forever. Oh, that's a really good thing I need to do for me. Or that's a great thing for the family. And so, yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to highlighters.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Can we give Yvonne a round of applause? Wow, what a lot of learning we've all enjoyed this evening. Thank you so, so much.
All right.
That was really magical. So I just want to make sure that everyone has arranged a one-to-one with Yvonne. I know, Karen, you've had a one-to-one and you're progressing all things publishing together. One book is now 6 books, so I'm led to believe, yeah, absolutely correct. And we're still going.
That's what I do.
So are we still going for a Christmas book?
There is a lot of yellow in my diary now because my book is me time.
Oh,
So there's a lot of yellow now.
6 weeks of yellow.
Definitely.
So I know, Karen, you've met with Yvonne. What about you, Beth? Have you arranged some one-to-one time together?
Yeah, we've actually booked a meeting later this month, haven't we, Yvonne?
We're booked in for later this month.
Lovely. And Lana, have you got some time?
I need to catch up with Yvonne because we did start making arrangements and then everything
and then
fell
it
off
all
the
went-
wagon my
yeah.
end. So
Yeah.
I need to get back up and
Lovely.
organised.
And then Suzanne, have you done a one-to-one with Yvonne then?
Not yet, because when I was free last week, she was having a one-to-one with you on the Friday because I was away.
Yeah, and I was away as well. So
So, you know, there's lots of power in, you know, now we've seen Yvonne, the way she works, and we've got an insight into her business and how she runs it. I think sometimes as well, it's a lot easier than to do the one-to-ones, isn't it? You've got something to put your claws into. So a date for your diary is the 26th of October. That's when I'm running the first live I Am Woman networking event. And it's probably going to be in the Olive Tree restaurant in Pyle Garden Centre in Bridgend. We're going to be taking it over and yeah, packing it full of people. It's really nice that, you know, they'll allow us to advertise before the event there as well. And obviously I'll be jumping all over social media saying I Am Woman's back and we're meeting there. So we won't be meeting that night. We will be meeting live that night as opposed to online that night. Oh, Karen, we have to fly you in. So I thought perhaps we could Zoom you in on a laptop, you know, so you could come in virtually from Ireland on a laptop.
I could be a talking head.
there you go. Is that the same time?
It's it'll be 6 o'clock till 6:30. I forget the timings that we do now. I think it's 6 till 7 networking, and then 7 till 9 we have 3 guest speakers. So, and we finish off with networking at the end. So the guest speakers usually talk about 15 minutes and they all speak on the same theme. So you get a different angle on who's speaking about what. And then we network from 8:30 and then we're away at 9. But the problem is getting people home. I think the latest we've had an I Am Woman meeting up until was 1:30 in the morning, where it involved a lot of red wine and people trying on wigs. Yeah,
Sounds good to me.
anything can happen. Yeah, so that's the first event, and I'm going to try and get another event in November. Then that'll be in the Heronston, and I'm negotiating with them for us to have afternoon tea or a lunch, and then them giving us free use of the spa. So that's all in negotiation at the moment. So yeah, so lots going on. I'm not going to be here next Tuesday. So we're not online next Tuesday because I'm in Jersey. I don't know if I could do it from Jersey. Can I do it from Jersey? No, I better not. I better have a week off, yeah? And when I come back, what I really want us all to concentrate on is affiliate schemes. I really want us to get our heads around affiliate schemes. I want us all to have worked out how we're going to be affiliates to one another. And I want us to run through that whole process of what we need to do to set up an affiliate scheme. So I know different people have different skills when it comes to this. I'd like to do something on onboarding of affiliates. So I'll take up the onboarding. Who else knows about affiliate schemes? Can somebody do the online part of it? Karen?
You want me to do the plug-in?
Plug-in, yeah. So Karen will do the plug-in, and I'm sure Lana will chip in because
I
Lana
won't be there.
You won't
I'll
be
on
there.
holiday.
Oh. We'll give you the recording. So Karen is going to be a double act between you and I to cover off the affiliate part, because Lana mentioned something really important today about this onboarding, to make sure we get the right system in place, so we get the right people in place doing the right things. Yeah. So we probably won't cover all affiliate marketing, but I think we need to start that process of at least getting us being affiliates for one another, and perhaps trialing out each other's processes. Yeah. So regardless, if you're not having an affiliate scheme yourself, you can be almost like trialing out somebody else's to see how it works for you. Because, you know, just this evening, you know, it was great, Karen, you bounced into Yvonne straight away and said, are you an affiliate? Yeah. So instead of Karen jumping straight online, she's almost saying to Yvonne, if you're mentioning anyone or recommending anyone, why aren't you an affiliate? Yeah. And it's just little things like in I Am Woman membership now, I give people a free 15-minute manifestation journal, yeah, through Amazon. But there again, I should be an affiliate of my own book, because I'm recommending people have it from Amazon. So it's all those little nuances, yeah, that we can all be getting, even if it's just, you know, money that goes into an account and you end up buying the Christmas presents out of it. It's money you wouldn't have had, and you're doing the activity anyway. So if you're doing the activity, then you should actually get reimbursed for it. So that's what we'll be covering off when we're next online, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
I'm not here for the next 4 Tuesdays because I'm running a parenting group.
Okay.
I will listen to the recordings.
Okay, we'll send you the recordings. And we've got a new lady joining us as well, Ellie Holmes. For those people who were at my birthday, Ellie was there. She runs a clinic in Cirencester, very successful skin clinic in Cirencester. So she'll be popping online with us. She's not ready now, but she'll be ready in a week or two's time to sort of pop online with us. And just for you to know, for people to join this group, they've all got to have gone through coaching with me, so that I'm very clear that they know what they're looking for when they join the group. Otherwise, you know, people can join us and they're just not up to speed with you guys, you know, because you're all supercharged now. So thank you, everyone. Can you make me the host, so I can